what are some ways? How would people know they need to be concerned? Is there certain things to look for, or how would you help homeowners spot early warning signs of foundation issues?
Well, like foundation, the number one thing, if it's a brick house, the stair-step cracks in the bricks are a tell. And that's an easy one. I mean, just walking the perimeter of your house, looking to see if you see those cracks. One crack doesn't necessarily mean it's a foundation problem. What we're looking for is what we call relative cracks. For example, if you're on the sidewall of the house and there's a crack, is there another house on the back wall that's adjacent to it? And if that's the case, then you usually have a piece of that house that's moved, or that footer's probably broken somewhere. So it's like a broken egg, and you can pull that shell right off. The thing you could do, like if everybody, we talked about the gutters. If you, like I said before, every house settles. If you were to take a laser level and scope your house and take measurements of each corner of your house and know, for example, it's 32 inches from the laser level to the floor here. It's 33 there. I've got a plus 1 inch. And then the other corner is 33 and a half, plus 1.5, whatever. Okay, that's your baseline. You measure that once a year, that number should always be the same. But if that number changes, then you've got movement. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the flip side of that coin is, let's say that number doesn't change and you've been doing this for 5 years. You've been documenting it. You've been taking pictures. Well, you call Milton to list your house and you've got a crack outside and the buyer wants you to fix it. We'll say, well, listen, man, I've been taking measurements of this house for 5 years. I've got the documentation. It hasn't moved. That crack is stable. You just killed that. Now you don't have to pay for that repair. Like, I'm about people getting repairs when they need to be done, but I'm not about just doing things to do them to make money. But when you're buying a house, if there is no documentation, if there is no history there, then I'm going to tell you, you got to fix it, because the problem is that person buying that house doesn't have any insurance that it is a problem or it's not a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have to fix it now, because what if it does become a problem in 2 years?
Yeah. So what's the difference between stabilization and corrective measures? So when you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Most people, homeowners, buyers, sellers, have conversations and they want you to come in and make things the way they used to be versus coming in and stabilizing where things are. Can you speak to that and kind of help us out?
Yes. So we'll go back. We'll stick with peers for now to make it make sense. But
yeah.
For example, let's say you've got a house, like we did a house over in Iroquois Park, where the guy wanted it perfect. He wanted everything level. Okay. Well, this house had settled. Some corners were 3 inches down, some were 4 inches down. Now, for me to level this, like, I'm going to have to excavate the entire outside of the property, pretty much, because you're going to want to try to lift this thing. Now, if I'm stabilizing, I can just put my piers where I want to put them, and then I can drive that pier till I hit rock. I'm good. Now, if I'm trying to lift, then anything that's on there is going to be hanging up my lifting process. That's why I have to excavate more. So it's going to cost you more. But so what happens is, when you stabilize, you drive the pier till you hit rock. Like I said, low bearing strata, you're good. When you lift, you drive till you hit rock. And then once you hit rock, then you increase the pressure and you use the leverage of that rock to pick that house. Now, you can't just do one spot at a time, because that footer's usually solid. You have to do sections. So we're trying to lift 4 or 5 piers at a time. And when you do that, let's say the house is 50 years old. So it took it 50 years to get to the point it's at. And you want me to put it back in one day. There's going to be damage. And you've got windows that settled with the house and are working fine. When I'm done, they might not, because we have now taken them and shifted it the way it's supposed to be. Garage door that works isn't going to work because it's shifted with the house. It's settled with the house. It adjusted as it went. You see what I'm saying? If it's a porch we lift, I can lift the corner. We can lift whatever, but it's not as easy as people think, because you're using, it's like you're trying to pole vault, but you can't see the end of the pole. The pole's 20 feet underground. And that's what I'm using for leverage. Sometimes to get it to lift, we got to bounce the house. We got to take it up like you got a car hung up in the mud. Yeah. I'll lift it. It stops. I'll drop it back down. And what do you think? We're doing your whole house that way.
Yeah.
But this guy, some people are so obsessed. That's what they want. That's what I can do it. But it's going to cost you a little more, and we'll get it there. 90% of the time, you're better off to go ahead and stabilize it. Guarantee yourself it'll never move. And then you can cosmetically make anything look the way you want, as long as you know it's not moving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can use different levels of subfloor. You can use a 1/4 inch here, 1/8 of an inch there. Cosmetically, for a fraction of the cost of what it's going to cost you to pay me to lift it all the way up.
Yeah, we don't like to lift heavy things unless we absolutely have to,
Yeah.
but we do want to shout out our socials. You can find us at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X on @INV Tribe. Thanks so much.